Most seniors don't realize this, but the way you dress when you walk into a clinic or hospital has a bigger impact on your medical care than you think. I'm not talking about fashion, style, or trying to impress anyone. I'm talking about how your clothing silently communicates things to your doctor, the nurses, and every healthcare worker you interact with. It can change the way they look at you, the assumptions they make, the seriousness with which they treat your symptoms, and even the amount of time they spend on your case. And most older adults walk into appointments completely unaware of how much they're affecting their own care before they even say a single word. So let's break down these 6 ugly truths that most seniors never hear, but absolutely need to know. The first ugly truth is that many seniors unknowingly dress in a way that signals to medical staff that they're not feeling well, even when they are. Oversized clothes, mismatched layers, or old, worn-out outfits may feel comfortable, but to a doctor, they can be subtle signs of weakness, fatigue, depression, or declining function. Healthcare workers are trained to look at these cues without even realizing it. If you walk in looking exhausted, sloppy, or weighed down, they often assume your condition is more serious or that you're not managing your daily life well. And that can shift the entire tone of your appointment, directing the conversation toward mobility issues, cognitive decline, or emotional health, even if those aren't the reasons you came in. You might think it doesn't matter because you're just there for a blood check or blood pressure follow-up, but your outfit may already be painting a picture that your words will struggle to correct. The second ugly truth is that wearing the wrong footwear is one of the fastest ways to get labeled as high risk. Seniors love easy slip-ons, old sandals, loose shoes, or anything that doesn't require bending or tying, and of course, that makes sense physically. But doctors and nurses immediately notice when someone walks in unsteady, shuffling, or wearing shoes that don't support the foot properly. They start thinking fall risk right away. And once that label is made, everything you say is filtered through that perspective. If you mention dizziness, they escalate concern. If you complain of foot pain, they assume instability. If you talk about feeling fatigued, they look for neurological or balance issues because you look physically tense or overheated. And when it's time for the examination, removing all those layers slows everything down and creates frustration on both sides. It may seem minor, but the added challenge can make your appointment feel rushed or stressful. You don't need to dress lightly, you just need to dress smart. One warm outer layer you can easily remove beats 3 layers that trap heat and complicate checks. The fourth ugly truth is that wearing tight or restrictive clothing can actually interfere with your measurements and mislead your doctor. Tight sleeves mess up blood pressure readings. Tight waistbands can worsen abdominal discomfort and make you look more tense or stiff. Compressive socks or leggings can make circulation seem better or worse than it really is. Even a tight shirt can affect how a doctor interprets your breathing. The problem is, many seniors choose tighter clothes because they think it looks neater or more presentable. But the truth is that restrictive clothing makes assessments less accurate, forcing doctors to repeat measurements or make judgments based on incomplete information. And that leads to unnecessary concern, extra tests, or incorrect assumptions about your discomfort level. The fifth ugly truth is that wearing clothing that's difficult to remove, such as shirts with tiny buttons, stiff denim, multiple layers, or complex closures, silently annoys healthcare staff more than patients realize. Not because they are impatient, but because it complicates their workflow. If they have trouble accessing your shoulder, chest, abdomen, or back, they have to spend extra time navigating clothing instead of focusing on your health. When this happens, the exam may feel rushed, or the doctor might avoid certain checks because they don't want to inconvenience you. That means you don't get a complete assessment, all because your outfit unintentionally created barriers. Senior-friendly clothing doesn't need to look old. It just needs to make the exam smoother so doctors can evaluate you properly. The sixth and final ugly truth is that many seniors dress in a way that unintentionally communicates defensiveness or distrust, and they don't even realize they're doing it. Wearing hats pulled low, sunglasses indoors, heavy scarves wrapped tightly, or oversized coats kept on during the conversation sends the silent message that you're closed off or guarded. Healthcare workers notice this, and when they sense emotional distance, they may unconsciously shorten the interaction, ask fewer follow-up questions, or assume you're not open to deeper discussion. This creates a communication gap, making you feel unheard and making your doctor feel like you don't want to engage. Something as simple as removing a coat or hat can change the entire energy of the room and create a more open, collaborative atmosphere. And here's the deeper truth behind all of this. Your clothing is not about style, not about impressing anyone, and not about vanity. It's about communication. It's about presenting yourself in a way that helps your doctor understand the real you, not the version your outfit accidentally portrays. When you dress with awareness, you take control of the first impression you give, and that first impression affects everything from tone to diagnosis to treatment. Most people never think twice about this, but doctors and nurses form their first impressions in the first 5 to 10 seconds of seeing you. Not based on what you say, not based on your symptoms, but based on how you present yourself in that moment. And seniors, more than any other age group, get judged the fastest, not out of disrespect, but because healthcare workers are trained to watch for subtle warning signs in older adults. So every small detail becomes a clue. Your posture, your energy, your body language, and yes, your clothing. It's the first signal they receive about how strong you are, how alert you are, how independent you are, and how well you're managing life day to day. But here's the real message hidden behind these 6 ugly truths. None of this is meant to scare you, and none of this means you need to dress fancy or uncomfortable. It simply means dressing in a way that supports your health, not complicates it. Dressing in a way that makes it easier for medical staff to understand you. Dressing in a way that communicates clarity instead of confusion, strength instead of decline, confidence instead of worry. The goal is not to impress. The goal is to remove unnecessary barriers. Because when your clothing gives a clear message, your doctor can focus on the real concerns, your symptoms, your treatment plan, your long-term health, rather than trying to decode signals that your outfit is sending accidentally. When you walk in looking neat, steady, and comfortable, you set a tone of readiness. You show that you're aware, engaged, and taking your health seriously. And whether people admit it or not, this changes the energy in the room. Doctors naturally sit up straighter. They listen more closely. They ask better questions. They assume you're capable and responsible, and that leads to better communication and better care. And the biggest advantage seniors get from dressing smartly is not how others see them, it's how they feel. When you walk into an appointment wearing clothing that fits well, supports your body, and makes the exam smoother, you instantly feel more in control. You don't feel rushed or embarrassed or uncomfortable. You don't feel like the staff is struggling to manage your layers or your shoes or your buttons. You feel prepared. That comfort translates into confidence, and confidence leads to clearer conversations. You explain your symptoms better. You remember more details. You ask better questions. You take notes more effectively. The entire appointment becomes more productive simply because your clothing wasn't fighting against you. There's also a surprising emotional layer to all this. Many seniors underestimate how much their appearance affects their mindset. When you dress carelessly, you tend to move more slowly, speak more softly, and feel older than you actually are. But when you dress with intention, even with simple, comfortable, practical clothing, you carry yourself differently. Your shoulders lift, your steps feel more stable, your energy feels more engaged. And doctors can sense this immediately. They're human. They respond to your attitude, your body language, and your presence. A senior who walks in appearing alert and put together often receives more thorough check-ins, more detailed explanations, and more collaborative discussion simply because they're projecting strength instead of vulnerability. But this doesn't mean hiding the fact that you're tired or pretending to feel better than you do. It means avoiding sending the wrong message unintentionally. It means understanding that your outfit should support communication, not confuse it. You don't need new clothes. You don't need expensive brands. You don't need to dress up. You just need clothing that's clean, comfortable, supportive, and easy to examine through. That alone can change everything about how your next appointment goes. And here's something most seniors never realize. Healthcare workers are under immense time pressure. They're trying to evaluate multiple things at once. They're trying to get accurate readings quickly. They're trying to interpret symptoms correctly. And when your clothing adds extra obstacles, whether it's too tight, too loose, too layered, too slippery, too stiff, or too complicated, those obstacles steal attention away from the things that actually matter. Meanwhile, the right outfit removes those obstacles instantly, giving the staff more mental space to focus on you, your symptoms, and your story. This is why being mindful of how you dress isn't about judgment. It's about making the appointment smoother, faster, clearer, and more accurate. Because the more accurately a doctor can interpret you, the better your healthcare outcome will be. So what does this mean for you in practical terms? First, simplify your outfit. Choose soft, pull-on tops instead of shirts with tiny buttons or stiff zippers. Go for elastic waistbands or soft pants that slide on easily. Skip multiple layers unless absolutely necessary, and always wear something that allows quick access for exams. Second, keep jewelry minimal. A wedding ring or medical alert bracelet is fine, but bracelets, necklaces, or watches with metal bands can slow things down or interfere with readings. Third, pick shoes that are safe, easy to slip on and off, and provide support. Avoid lace-ups that require bending or complicated straps that could cause imbalance. Fourth, prioritize clean, well-maintained clothing over style trends or comfort alone. It doesn't have to be fancy, just cared for. These small adjustments create a ripple effect. Your appointments run smoother, your body feels more comfortable, and your healthcare team can focus fully on your health instead of your wardrobe. When you make these changes, the benefits are immediate. You reduce stress for yourself and for the staff. You signal that you're organized, capable, and ready to participate in your care. You give yourself the dignity you deserve and the confidence to speak up, ask questions, and make informed choices. And over time, this practice can improve your overall healthcare experience, from shorter wait times to more thorough assessments, to leaving the office feeling respected and empowered. It's easy to dismiss clothing as a minor detail, but as we've seen, it silently communicates volumes. You may think it's just fabric, but to doctors and nurses, it's an unspoken language that shapes first impressions, guides assumptions, and even influences the quality of care. Dressing thoughtfully isn't about vanity or impressing anyone. It's about self-respect, practical ease, and taking control of your experience. By avoiding overly complicated, tight, sloppy, or neglected clothing, you ensure that your visits are efficient, comfortable, and focused on what really matters: your health, your questions, and your well-being. As we wrap up, remember that these choices also affect how you feel about yourself. Wearing clean, comfortable, easy-to-manage clothing helps you feel stronger, steadier, and more in control. It supports a confident mindset that carries through your entire appointment. When you combine practical clothing choices with your own awareness and engagement, every visit becomes an opportunity to advocate for yourself, protect your dignity, and receive the care you deserve. Small changes like leaving complicated jewelry at home, swapping tight layers for easy pullovers, or choosing safe slip-on shoes might feel trivial at first, but they create meaningful, tangible differences in how you are perceived, how smoothly your visit goes, and how empowered you feel throughout the process. Thank you for joining me today. I'd love to hear from you. Share one thing you learned or one change you plan to make before your next medical appointment. Your comments not only help me understand what resonates most, but they inspire others in our community to take charge of their health in small, practical ways. If this video has been helpful, Please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could benefit from these tips. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs, empowers, and motivates seniors to stay confident and proactive about their health. Remember, dressing thoughtfully is not just about looking good, it's about feeling prepared, respected, and in control every single time you step into a doctor's office. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.